Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our first session of Lunch and Learn here in District 81. And today, to kick us off is our District 81 Program Quality Director, Distinguished Toastmaster, Corinne Thomas. Please put your hands together and let us welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Corinne to the virtual lectern. Madam Program Quality Director, the lectern is yours.
Thank you so much, Division E Director. Madam District Director, fellow Toastmasters from District 81 and beyond, thank you for taking the time out to join us for Lunch and Learn this morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. We're continuing the series that was started last year because we realized that you all enjoyed having this break and not just the same old evening sessions. So here we are with Basecamp for Newbies, which is the first in our series for this year. And since our time is short, let me, without further ado, introduce our presenter today. Distinguished Toastmaster Elizabeth Nehru is someone who I think a lot of persons across the Caribbean is familiar with. She is someone who is passionate about Toastmasters, about using it as an instrument for nation building, especially for the youth. She is one of the go-to persons in District 81 for pathways, and she's certainly embraced pathways since it came on. We're looking forward to a lively session as she presents Basecamp for Newbies. So without further ado, let us invite Distinguished Toastmaster Elizabeth Nehru to the virtual lectern.
Thank you very much, Madam PQD, and happy lunchtime to all those persons that are here. Please, feel free to turn on your cameras and have your lunch. That's fine. That's why we're having lunch and learn session. And today, as our PQD mentioned, we are going to be looking at pathways for newbies. You would have been familiar with all the changes that has happened in Toastmasters, especially with Basecamp and pathways. We have moved from 6 educational paths to now 6. And in addition to that, there has been improvement, and I must say that I enjoy the improvements that have been made. So we're going to go through that today. But first, I want, and hi Tash, or Didi, Tashi, good to see you. And I'm sorry. So we are going to do a brief poll because I want to get a feel as to how persons, their comfort level with regards to using pathways and Basecamp, right? So I'm going to ask our technical support team to just launch a poll, and we encourage everyone, state your comfort level. Are you very comfortable? Are you somewhat comfortable? Or if you're not comfortable, that's fine, because that's why we are here as Toastmasters. We always say in our club, Dynamic Speakers, we leave no members behind. So even after this lunch hour session, if you're still not comfortable, just please let us know and we'll be happy to walk you through. Okay, so the poll has been launched and persons have been responding. I see what we have. Wow, we have 71 persons logged in today. So that means this topic is very important. And so far, 57%, we're going to show the poll in a little bit, but so far, we still have some persons to complete. 57% are saying that they're somewhat comfortable. We have 15% saying that they're not comfortable, and we have 29% saying that they are very comfortable. So the majority of our audience this morning are somewhat comfortable, which is a good place to be because we just need a little top, right? Okay, great. If you could just display the poll, please, for our audience to see. Are we seeing that?
Seeing it?
Okay, great, wonderful. All right, so we know exactly where we are. So most persons are somewhat comfortable. So today, thank you, our technical team. Today, I'm going to go through two aspects. Let me start sharing here because I know you may have questions. And so 1 moment. Our session today is entitled Pathways for Newbies. And even if you're not so newbie, that is fine because we're all learning. We're all newbies at some point in time in our lives, right? Our presentation, as I mentioned before, will take about an hour, and we'll be looking at basic walkthrough of the new Basecamp. And the idea is that we're going to be moving from somewhat comfortable to very comfortable. If not at the end of this session, at least in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to imagine. Okay? What is Pathways? Pathways is a modernized learning experience that is suited to our changing global society. And so much has changed in our society. It is like moving at the speed of light. And sometimes it's very hard for all of us to catch up, right? But what I love about Pathways, it aligns to that change that is happening in society. As a matter of fact, in my organization, our learning management system is a replica of what Pathways is, or vice versa, whatever it is. But the important thing is that I'm able to align and identify with our learning management system at my workplace because I interact with Pathways. As I always say, Pathways is just not for our clubs, but it's for life outside of Toastmasters. And it offers you more benefits and more opportunities to learn, grow, and meet your professional goals. And some of these professional goals include employers' value, employees with public speaking and leadership skills. In terms of audiences, they want a return on their investment from attending these meetings. And Pathways does that. And for audiences, especially the millennials and younger, they crave for engagement. And even in our clubs, we have some persons just graduating from university, and the Pathways program is like right up their alley because 24-hour access and everything is online. They can travel, they can go to universities abroad, wherever in the world on vacation, and still be able to complete it because everything is online. There's also a growing need for speakers, and Pathways offer that. Recently, a member who had left our club to go to university and was completing her studies, and she said she wanted to do a podcast. And she was coming back because Pathways offer the training in podcast. So there are great opportunities for persons that are employed or persons who just want to develop a particular skill. Pathways offer 5 core competencies: public speaking, interpersonal communication, strategic leadership, management, and it's also to build confidence. As I mentioned earlier, our pathways had changed from 11 specialized learning paths, and now we're down to 6. They're listed here: dynamic leadership, engaging humor, motivational strategies, persuasive influence, presentation mastery, and visionary communication. So although it's 6, it still encompasses the personal development that we would want to make for our members. Today, my presentation is going to take 2 forms. We're going to go through this PowerPoint presentation to introduce you to the second part, and then we'll be taking a live demo. So I'll be walking you through the changes and what you can expect. So if you're by your computer, if you're eating your lunch by your desk, you can log in to Toastmasters International and follow along. If not, you can probably take notes or you can reach out to me at some other time. That's fine. So the new page for Basecamp for regular members would be 4 tabs. You're going to see 4 tabs. We're going to go through the path and learning tab. We're going to go through the achievements tab. We're going to look at how do you get feedback using Basecamp, and we're going to be looking at the resources because the website would have been changed significantly, right? So we're going to go through that. So when you log into Basecamp, this is going to be your new landing page. I'm going to be using my path as an example. So I'm currently pursuing engaging humor. It's a personal development for me because I am not a very humorous person. I don't have a slight bit of humorous bone. So this particular path is going to be a stretch for me. So that is the only path that I am selected, and that's what you will see. If you have more paths that are there, it will be listed on your landing page. You will also see all the paths that you have completed in the prior, what is the word? In the prior system, you would have seen all the parts that you would have been completed. All right, so I did motivational strategies and others, but you will also see that I would have the path that you would have completed, it's highlighted here, and all the others that are not completed, those will be grayed out. Right, so I have not completed level 2, or at least in the process of doing so. But because it's not completed, it's grayed out. Then you have the option of asking for feedback. That's, I think it wasn't widely used for the first system. So now you can get members' feedback regarding your speeches, and you can get evaluation feedback. And we're going to go through that in the live demonstration. You can also give feedback on this page. I think that the changes that they've made have made this more simple and more user-friendly. There, you can also find at the press of a button all your resources. All of them are in one page, and it is just one tab that says resources. So if you want to be able to write a communication plan for those in leadership roles, if you'd like a 360, all those resources are there. If you want to download your evaluation forms, they are also there. But there is a very cool aspect of it because no longer members have to go and find their evaluation and send it to the VP Ed to send it to the evaluator. You, as the presenter, can email directly through Basecamp the evaluation form to whoever is presenting if the meeting is being held in your club. So we're going to walk through that in a little bit, which I think is really cool. And why? All right, so we have here now your project descriptions. That's also a new addition. And then we have also under resources, you can, so even after this session today, you can go through your Basecamp user guide, or you can download it and email it to your members of your club so they can go through it. So it's a comprehensive overview of the changes that have been made and also what to expect. So even if our session is not all encompassing for you, you can always go and look at the presentation that is there. I spoke to the PQD that we may have to do another session, a follow-up session, a lunch and learn session, probably next month we can do so on the Basecamp managers. So one of the changes that was made is that all members of the executive now are Basecamp managers. That means you can go in and approve. So we're going to have a session for that so we can take you through how the approval process works. All right, so that ends my presentation on Basecamp. So now let us go and do a live demo. And then you can feel free to ask all your questions and we can work through it together, okay? All right, so let's me go to... Do we have any questions so far while I queue up? Please feel free to drop your comments in the chat.
Can I say something?
Sure, go right ahead.
Yeah, what I want to note is there are still a lot of naysayers to pathways, and I don't think persons really understand how much they can use pathways in their personal life. And I'm glad that you brought it up this morning, because what I find is, even saying what you said, persons still are very cautious about pathways and how it can change their Toastmasters experience. I think these kinds of sessions are important because, especially with the hands-on, persons can really see how to navigate and how it can change the whole experience that they have with their education program and the leadership program as well of Toastmasters International. So kudos to you. I may not be on for the end, but yeah, just wanted to say that.
Thank you so much. Yes, that's exactly. I'm very passionate about it because I have benefited from pathways outside of Toastmasters. And the good thing about it is that, like, as I mentioned, the courses are aligned with real life situations. We have, in our clubs, we have interns, and they use the pathways to prepare them to go into the work world. And very, very good program. So I encourage you to embrace it. You know, there's lots of benefits for it. All right, so when you log into Toastmasters, you are going to access, let me go back, for the real newbies. All right, I wanted to go to Toastmasters login page so that you can see how to access. Does take, all right. So when you log in to Toastmasters websites, and for all the new Toastmasters that are here, this is where you will start. Okay, where can I take you today? So we're going to go to Basecamp today. And this is your landing page. And as you can see, it's very well laid out. You have your learning paths, you have your achievements, you have feedback, and you have resources. So today we're going to be focusing on just the member, not the Basecamp manager aspect of it. That's for another time. As I mentioned earlier, I am enrolled in engaging humor for my personal development in trying to make people laugh. Pray for me, please. Okay, so this is, when you click on that, it will show you your progress. I'm 48% complete, and I'm currently working on level 2. Right, so you can see here, it has level 2, and I'm at the 3rd of 10 steps. So as a person working on a path, there are resources within that path that will help me. So here we look at the competencies. understanding your sense of humor. And I find this resource very, very helpful because for me, who don't have an inch of funny bone, it will teach me how to align my goals with this, right? We have here the value of storytelling. So it gives resources as you go along. You just click on next, as you would with the former system. You read through and you click on next. There are still videos there that you can watch again to help to develop your speech. And it also gives you the outline. So that aspect of it remains the same. And you just click on next, 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 and it will take you through all of that. And then you will be able to complete your path. So when you complete your path, so as a matter of fact, let me go there because this is the cool part I was telling you about. Your project purpose, the overall objectives. So it says here, because I'm currently working on level 2 and I hope to complete level 2 this week. I've started already. Speech is 5 to 7 minutes, and especially for our newbies, it will show you what the steps are. You select a topic for your speech, you schedule it with your VPN. So I have done all of that just now. I reached out to my VPE, sorry, and I told her what I'm going to do and all of that. Now, it tells you about the evaluation, and then what you need to know about your project. Now, this is the really cool part that I was telling you about, which was not available in the former system. You write your speech title here. You can determine the date that you're going to do your speech, and you enter it here. You select a club. So for me, it's Dynamic Speakers Club, but if you're doing it another club, you can enter the name of the club there. If you have selected your home club, you have the opportunity to select your evaluate. So whoever your VPE says, you select that person. You have another drop down, and whatever the project that you are doing, you can select that evaluation resource. Maybe you want to say to your evaluator, I want you to evaluate me based on my hand movements. So look out for my hand movements and pay specific attention to that. You can make that notation here. You save, you can either save the log or you can save and email. Your evaluator will get a copy of the evaluation form in their mailbox. Now, how cool is that? So now when we go to a meeting, we don't have to be calling persons to send their evaluation sheets. So this is one of the best improvements that I have noted. And then you continue on until you have completed your project.
Liz, can I just add something to what you're saying? Sorry to disturb.
No problem at all. Go right ahead.
A lot of the times persons belong to more than one club, or they're presenting at a club that the evaluator is not listed there. So all they can do is, when the person is not in that list, in the little part that, if you can go back one step.
Sure.
Yes, so go right down to the bottom right. So request description, they can write in evaluated by whoever, and add in the information of this, whatever it is they want there. So the evaluator does not have to be selected. If it's not in that list, they put it down in the bottom there, so that the person receiving the evaluation form sees all of that.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Because that is very important, because sometimes you want to go back. If you're in Easy Speak, you probably can choose it in Easy Speak as well. But if you don't, like Doc said, you can just put it right here. Okay. Any questions before we move on to the next tab?
Yes, Toastmaster Liz. I wanted to know how one can download the resource that you mentioned, You
Mhm.
mentioned that there's an entire resource guide. Can you
Yes.
show where it can be downloaded?
Okay, sure. I'm going to go back to the landing page again. So go back to home. And if you go here under resources, so your landing page has 4 tabs. So if you go to your resource tab, you are able to see all the resources available. And what I like about the improvements is that everything is on one page. So you're learning, your paths and learning here. If you want to look at your achievements here, if you want feedback, it's there, and all your resources. You don't have to be coming in and out of different pages as was before, and you have everything right here. If you had documents that you had saved, for example, I in particular I write my speeches and I like to save them because there are times when outside of Toastmasters, I'm called to deliver a speech and I'll just pull it up. So on my computer, I do have a folder for that, but also in Basecamp, I can upload my documents and I can save them here, all my speeches. Did I answer your question, Toastmaster Kadisha?
You did. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for that question. So we're now going to move to the achievements page. The achievement page shows all the achievements that you have acquired in Pathways. So for me, I've completed all of them. So persons I think were concerned about the transition, if they would lose their information about paths completed before. So they're right here, all the badges are listed right there for you to see. As I mentioned earlier, the one that you're working on will be highlighted, or the level you're working on would be highlighted, but all the others will be grayed out until they have been completed. So you have a chance to see all. You can also filter by those that you have earned. And you can also filter by those that you have remaining to get all the noise out, so to speak. For your achievements and your Basecamp manager, when we do that session, they will be able to still generate the certificates. The certificates of completion for each level is important for you as the persons who have completed the speeches, because your personal development you can share with your employers for your performance review session that you will have, or you'd have done your goal setting at the beginning of the year. Your VP Ed or any one of any member of the executive will be able to pull down your certificate of completion and email it to you, and you can either email it to your employer or you can just print it and have them put it on your file, right? So nothing is wasted in Pathways. Now let's hop over to feedback. So you are able to ask members for feedback. So in our clubs, we have our official evaluator, and we also have what we call the behind the scenes evaluators. So they're not upfront with the evaluation, but they're still observing your speech and they will give you feedback. You can also request that feedback using this tab here. So you can request a member feedback. You can also give feedback. So you put your club, you select your club, the member that you'd want to give feedback to, and you can also make the request here. Do you want it visible to all club members? This would ensure privacy or not. So if you really don't care, how many members you see, that's fine. If you just want to send it to one specific person, you can also do that. And also, you have the opportunity to give feedback. So you want to choose your club, which is dynamic speakers for us, and you select a member, and you have a members list. So I want to give feedback to Toastmaster Andre regarding her recent speech. And you can send that. Again, you can do it if you want to do it for all the club members so that they can benefit, or if you just want to just send it to her only, that's fine. So this is a very cool tool because we say it is feedback that builds us in Toastmasters. And the fourth tab is the resource tab, which I just looked at. And if you scroll down, you will be able to see all those resources that you need. One thing I love about Toastmasters International, they're not short on resources. There's a resource for everything. There's also, some of these are available in different languages. So like here we have Japanese, Korean for icebreakers, etc. We spoke about earlier the Basecamp user guide and sending, requesting request, digital evaluation request, sharing on social media, etc. So all that information is still right there. All right, and let me see, I think I have, I'm not going to go into the Basecamp Manager because that's a different course, but you're able to also filter, all right? Filter anything that has been shared with you, recently viewed. You can add your favorites. You can also look here at some of your project resources. So whatever it is, you don't have the time and you want to filter out all those stuff, that is available for you as well. And you can also select the language that if you're speaking English, you just have them show you just the English ones instead of everything. Any questions so far? Hello, anybody there?
No, it's going very well so far. I am not new to Toastmasters. However, I was on the old system because one of my path was the legacy path. So now that I chose a new path, I have to rediscover the pathways, which I have been doing for a while. So you're going very good thus far.
Great, thank you very much. I'm very happy that we're able to clarify them. All right, so we see some hands up. So help me here, Toastmaster. I can't see. So if you could.
You have Natalie Jarvis first and then Shireen Thompson.
Okay, great. All right, let's start with Toastmaster Nat.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Liz. Very informative thus far. I have one query. I don't know if you're going to be touching on this in the minutes that remain. So I have just completed one path. How do I go about selecting the new path? Because in the old system, you went through these series of questions, and based on your responses, you were prompted to a particular path. How do you now go about selecting a new path when you have completed one?
That's a very good question. Hey, PQD, Corinne, would you want to answer that one for me? Because I haven't selected a new path.
Certainly. You can actually use that same quiz to select your next path, or you can look at the descriptions and select one. Just decide what rocks your boat, what you want to learn, or if you want to do something completely new. Once you go on, there is a section where it says select a path and you have the two options.
Yes,
So when you log
Catherine Magdalene from St. Martin Evolution Toastmasters Club. I just wanted to give her a comment, seeing that I just chose one myself because of a new path. It's easy. What I did is I went, as PQD said, I looked at each one of the path and the descriptions. And that is how it helped me to choose which one I wanted to attempt next.
Yeah, Thank you.
so much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Toastmaster
welcome.
Shireen.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So quickly, it's along the same path in selecting your new pathway. Now I've done the selection because I've identified what I want, which is motivational strategies, but it is not accepting my payment. I have tried different cards on numerous occasions, but it keeps saying what did it say? Invalid card information or something like that. And that is from using more than just one cards and at different times. I'm still not yet to purchase the pathway, even though I've started doing the projects.
That sounds like something that has to be taken to Toastmasters International. So I
Yes.
suggest that you send an email.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. And you know how to do that, right, Toastmaster Shireen?
I guess not quite. I'm fairly new, but I guess I can. If you tell me, I appreciate it, but I can also find out.
Oh, okay. If you go on their website, I think they have contact us, and it has the email listing. So depending on the issue that you're having, you just select that particular email address
Email, right?
and then you just send it to them. They're
There
usually
was,
very responsive.
I just saw a comment in the chat that you could also try, before you do that, try clearing your browser history and see.
I did that.
You did that. Then
Yes,
you need
because
to
I was
take it.
invited to this. Yeah, I did
Take
that.
it to them because
All right,
it
I
must
will.
be an internal issue that they need to solve.
Correct,
Okay, thank you.
right.
Yes.
You will also have the option, if you go on their website, they have a little chat bot at the
Yes.
bottom. You can request to speak to an agent.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
probably
once you log in and and that is sometimes very useful and can clear up your query immediately or send you right to where you need to go.
right. Exactly. That's what I'm
Yes.
thinking. Thank you.
Okay,
We
thank you
had
too.
Lynette Gibbs hand raised, and then but I see it's down. Have we answered your question, Lynette?
Yes, along the way, my question was answered, but I also had a next question pertaining to the evaluation. You have a member, you're being evaluated by someone who's not a member of your club. Their name is not in the list to send, so we'll have to download that form and send it to them.
That is correct,
and then when we receive it back, how do we upload it now in our system that we are evaluated? That was my question.
Well, you don't have to, remember that you don't have to upload it.
Oh, okay.
As
I know
long
the
as
old
there's a
system, it was
record.
like that. Okay. Okay.
As long as there's a record that you did the speech. And by the way, we do speeches all over. Please don't do the speech and then tell the VPE.
No. My
No,
VPE
I'm just
is always
speaking
informed.
generally. I'm just speaking generally because sometimes we interclub and we get opportunities. And it's afterwards that we tell our VPE, oh, I did this speech at XYZ. Please let the VPE know before you do the speech so that when the level is to be completed, you don't have any challenges.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Toastmaster
Dwight, sorry, before 1 second, Toastmaster Dwight. I want to reiterate the point that for members, especially our newer members, complete your path or your project or your levels in a timely manner so that your VPE can approve, or it can be approved in Basecamp. Because what we have seen sometimes is that the member forgets to go in to mark it complete. And especially at the end of the Toastmaster year, neither the club nor the member benefits from the completion of the project. So I'm just reminding persons to complete your project as soon as it's done. I completed one project last night, and as I completed as late as it was, I went and marked it complete. So just reiterate that point to your members. Thanks so much. Toastmaster Dwight?
Okay, thanks for taking my comment or question. Okay, I would just want to say something pertaining to what the lady was asking about with the issue of her card. My suggestion is using another browser, using a different browser. say for example, you know, like you might be using Firefox, try using Chrome or
Right.
Safari. Yeah, I've had that
Yeah.
problem before with something, and using another browser corrected the problem. So
Okay,
that's,
thank you.
yeah,
Good,
you're welcome.
yes, good point. Thank you so much. See, when we get together for lunch, great ideas flow. Thanks so much, Toastmaster Dwight. Right, there's another hand.
Yes, Mizana.
Yes, Toastmaster Mizana, DTM Mizana.
Yes, good afternoon. With regards to the card, in Territory Guyana, because of the Anti-Money Laundering and Anti-Terrorism Act, there is a policy most commercial banks put in place where they block your cards from websites that are not popular, like Amazon and so are popular. Maybe you need to call the bank and tell them to release your card because you're trying to make a payment to this unpopular website, which is Toastmasters International. I know that for sure. But I don't know in your territory what the policy is.
Okay, all right, good point. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
that's
I'll
true.
definitely try all the suggestions.
Okay, great. Happy we were able to help Toastmaster Shireen. Thank you for that question or raising that concern. Any other questions regarding pathways learning?
Toastmaster Dwight has his hand raised again, and Michelle Brooks also has raised her hand.
Toastmaster Dwight?
I'm sorry, that must have been by accident. I'm
Okay.
clear. I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Miss Anna, I see your hand is still raised. Do you have another question or you just forgot to put it down?
Sorry.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So, DTM Michelle.
Thank you so much, Madam Program Quality Director, and good afternoon to you, Madam Facilitator Liz. It's good to see your face and to hear your voice. Thank you for facilitating today's Lunch and Learn. I would just like to make a comment, actually, because I had not been engaging in the new learning platform when it was first revamped and launched. But then I'm mentoring some new Toastmasters. And unfortunately, they were facilitating, giving speeches from level 1, but they had not actually started working in Basecamp. So what I don't remember which Toastmaster it was who just mentioned it and said, but the point is not for them not to wait till the last minute, because what ended up happening is I had to schedule several sessions that took a lot of time from both me and the new Toastmaster, where I had to assist them to go through completing their the base camp portion. Right. So they had delivered all the projects from level 1, but then had to spend hours going through. And I say hours because the new platform, for those of you who don't know, there's a lot more assessments. There's a lot more, questionnaires, more opportunities for you to get more out of what the platform offers for your educational development and growth. So it's really, really important, to the point of what our Madam Facilitator said. Don't wait till the last minute. Update your projects right away. Get in there even before you deliver the speech so that you could get the pre-work done. Because in my opinion, there's a lot more pre-work than before. Yes, there's a lot more pre-work. In the past, we could just skip. We just did the pre-speech assessment, then we did the post, and we just skipped over everything. But now you really want to get in there early and get the learning in. And also, like DTM Julia said earlier, to take advantage of the opportunities that the new platform gives us to learn. So thank you so much for today's session.
And thank you so much, DTM Michelle. It's great to hear you as always, and always for the support. And yes, you really do have a valid point. You don't want at the last minute to be hurrying to get things done, and it creates a backlog for you as well. So, smooth sailing. Great. Thank you so much for that. Program
Madam
quality?
Moderator, before you, yes,
Mm.
to highlight what distinguished Toastmaster Michelle just said,
Mhm.
I sometimes get the impression that VPEs in their zealousness to assist members are not encouraging them to work the program properly.
Mm.
So what this DTM Michelle just said often happens because we're giving the members the project document or the evaluation, and they're preparing their speech from that.
Great.
What we're doing is watering down the program. They're not learning because they're not taking advantage, as was said, of the pre-work, of the videos that are there. So I do encourage us to do the thing in the proper way, and we will learn and grow. It might take longer, but the learning is reinforced.
Absolutely. 100% supporting of that. And when you go step by step, well, like me doing an engaging humor path, which I'm not familiar with humor. So this is new territory for me. And I realized that pre-reading and the preparation material that is there is very, very important as I build a skill on creating humor. So 100% supported, PQD. Thank you so much for that. So let us not shortchange our members. Let us have them just do the thing properly. Great. Any other questions or comments? Okay, we have about 13 more minutes to go. Remember, our sessions are just for an hour because it's really a lunchtime. So while you're eating, you learn as you go along. All right, let me see if there's anything else that is here. I believe badges are still available. So if you want to give your member a badge, if they have completed, if you have, I'm trying to find where it is.
I think it's
We
in
have
feedback.
Okay, let's
Look in
see
feedback.
here. Okay. Members feedback, give feedback. Oh, here we go. So you can choose whichever badge that you would like. So you go here, you select your club. Oh, I'm gonna choose dynamic speakers. Let me see. We're gonna choose, and we could say, great. She's our club treasurer. Great job managing the renewal of members. And then you can just send her a badge. And it goes, oops, where did that go? Yeah. Not so sure what happened there. Select Andrea and over here. And we could say we are going to send her an innovative badge because she was very creative in how she got members to renew. Okay. And I'm going to share with all the members, and you post your feedback. Are you sure you want to post this feedback to Andrea Duncan? And you click yes. All right. And you get the confirmation there as well. Likewise, when you send your evaluation to the person who is evaluating your speech, you will also get a confirmation that it has been successfully sent. Yes, Toastmaster friend.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Good to have you.
Wonderful. Quick question, because I don't remember if I saw it. When a member complete their pathway and they want to have that letter sent to their boss, can you direct me where to look at? Because I don't think I found that.
That's a very good point. That will be in the Basecamp manager. So Right, I didn't want to go into that for today's meeting because we have only 10 minutes, but we're going to do another session. So when the person has completed level 3, the Basecamp manager will be able to see the achievements, including that letter. And the letter will be sent and select that letter to be sent to the employer.
Okay, okay,
Right.
that's fair. Okay, thanks.
So next month we will do that session on Basecamp Manager, and it will show you how to approve and how to send off your certificates and the letters. Right, Toastmaster Fran?
Yes, mom. Yes, DT. You say yes, mom. Yes.
For a moment, you sounded so Jamaican. Okay. All right. Any other questions? We have 9 more minutes to go.
I saw Ms. Anna had her hand raised. Ms. Anna, you had another question?
I just wanted to concur with DTM Liz that yes, the letter for the manager that option is available upon approval of the level, the path. Another thing is maybe DTM Liz in the last few minutes can show how we can use the paths outside of Toastmasters.
The paths outside of Toastmasters?
How we can use pathways to help us
Ah,
outside of Toastmasters. I mean, we go through the path, we finish it, yes, why? Because we want to finish the level, we want to finish our path, we have our own Toastmasters goal. But maybe you
agreed.
can now show us how this can work outside of Toastmasters.
Good point. Thank you so much for that.
DTM
Definitely will.
Liz, I have an example of a project.
Okay.
One of our members is going to do a session tomorrow. Has nothing to do with pathways or Toastmasters. When she reached out to me for advice and I thought about what she had to do, I told her, I gave her a project to do. So I'm going on to the session tomorrow to evaluate her while she's doing this session that's to do with her work. So we need to look for opportunities like that when we have such things and see how they can, it's a win-win. In fact, she had 2 because last night she also had to do a radio interview and I was able to direct her to another project. So that's 2 that she could do. Whereas if she was considering, how am I going to do this? What next can I do? Sometimes that's why our members find pathways a chore. We, especially VPEs and mentors, we need to educate them so that they look at projects in a different way. And I think it will make a difference.
Great example for that. And I'm going to share one more. We had a member who was doing the presentation mastery path, and he was called by his alma mater, which is the university, to do a keynote presentation. Now, the keynote speech is a level 5 in pathways. So he told us, he prepared his speech. We sat with him, did all the tweakings. He delivered this speech. A member went to the meeting and evaluated his speech, and he was able to use that in pathways. Likewise, we have had persons who have done television interviews, and there is a project in Pathways that helps them to prepare. If you are a member of a union and you know how aggressive persons can be, there is a path, there's a project in Pathways how to handle a difficult audience. So again, Pathways, real life experience. I can't tell you how much. And between PQD and I, we could share you so many examples of how our members have taken Pathways seriously to apply it to life outside of Toastmasters. All right, we're going to stop there. Toastmaster Messier, I hope I did not pronounce your name.
Mercier.
Yes,
Mercier,
thank you.
Mercier, just a quick question. You
Yes.
mentioned that we get a confirmation that our the email that we sent regarding our evaluation has been received or confirmed. I have done at least 5. I haven't received a confirmation yet. Am I missing something? Where should that confirmation come? Does it come through my email? Does it come, from Toastmasters International? I have never received a confirmation that. Where should I be receiving it?
You wouldn't get it. You will see a green tape at the top that says sent. And what I usually do is I call that member to confirm that they have received it.
Yeah, I usually do that, but I have never received a confirmation per se. So it's a green tape on the.
Correct. And it says sent.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thanks for that question. We have 4 minutes and we have 4 hands. So who was next? Toastmaster Jasmine.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me make it quick. Lovely session. I was at a point just even this year, what's next? And I'm thinking, you have completed the pathways. What else can you do? And I really felt down being in a club and you want to contribute educationally. And then one day I sat and just browsing through pathways and I realized that, listen, I can redo visionary communication and redo the projects the path that I've done before. Because, for example, in level 3, you have 15 projects that you can do. I did only 2 the first time around, so you can switch and do something else. So at the end of that discovery that night, I realized that, listen, I don't have to be discouraged. I can still enjoy working in Pathway, just do something new. You will always have something to do in Toastmasters.
Absolutely. And podcast is a big thing nowadays. You can make money off that. So you can always sign up for a podcast. Let's see who else we have here. Let me take Toastmaster Opal Bryan.
All right. Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Liz. On the item of projects outside non-Toastmasters project, how do we consider the time? Because usually if you're doing an activity, the time is usually different from that setting on TI. How do we treat that?
Well, you have the flexibility of the time. The time that Toastmaster International or on the evaluation sheet is just a guide. Some members may ask for the speech to go, say, 5 to 10 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour, as the case may be. They will tell the evaluator that this is the time that they're working with. So it's not set in stone that it's going to be a 5 to 7 minutes speech.
Okay,
Just,
thank you very much.
Just to add to that, you can't talk and talk and talk and then tell the evaluator it needs to be settled beforehand.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Okay, good. No, good question. Toastmaster Shireen and Toastmaster Michelle.
All right, so just quickly though, because it was basically the same question that Toastmaster Opal had asked, because I did a radio interview yesterday. Somebody from the club was there, so I'm thinking that when I heard Toastmaster Corinne said that can be, I said, wow, I need to look to see where I can place that radio interview and get it off as one of the projects. So but then I was concerned about the time because it was about 25 minutes, almost half an hour. So I guess that will have to be worked out.
Right, and that's why communication with your VP Ed is very important. So if I'm doing a presentation, for example, I moderated a panel discussion at work, and I invited DTM Corinne to come and evaluate it, but I told her that it's not going to be 20 minutes, it's going to be an hour or 30 minutes. So she evaluated me based on that time.
Right. It so happened that it was my VP Ed that was there, not as the VP Ed capacity, but she was there. So I'm going to talk with her after.
That's right. Okay, great. Nothing, we say in our club, nothing is wasted in pathways. Toastmaster Michelle.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Liz, and everybody else, because your questions are helping to answer a lot of things that are in my mind as well. So thank you so much. Madam Program Quality Director mentioned VPEs and mentors, and I'm so glad that she did a while back, because I am of the opinion that we put a lot of responsibility on the shoulders of our vice presidents of education. And these individuals end up, at least I've experienced this in different clubs where I've been a member, they end up being burnt out at the end of the program year because of, you know, they're filling agendas and not getting support from maybe the assigned Toastmaster of the meeting or some other Toastmaster in the club. There, we wanna push to get new members, but then who's handling the onboarding of these new members? The VPMs are not always engaged in that process, and it ends up falling again to the vice presidents of education. And this is where mentors can jump in and be a part of that onboarding process. So if you're proud enough to stand next to that new member when they're inducted into your club and get credit for sponsoring that new member, how about you become part of their onboarding process as well? And help them to learn about Basecamp and encourage them to attend sessions like this one so that they can get that learning in, and encourage them to maximize on this amazing Toastmasters journey and program that is offered to all of us at the very low price of $120 a year. So so I just want to encourage all Toastmasters that are on this call today, as well as others who might hear the recording afterwards, to please be part of the experience for all members in your club when possible, and not leave the burden to only the vice president of education because you figure that's their role, right? So we all need to be part of the success stories of our fellow Toastmasters, and that includes the onboarding as well as the continued support. Thank you again to everyone. Thank you to Madam PQD and our facilitator, the dynamic, distinguished Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, DTM Michelle. All right, I think we're out of time because we know it's lunchtime. We have a hard stop. As we mentioned, it's just an hour. We have Madam PQD. Do we want to take these? We have two hands up.
Well, Michelle, and before, I guess we can allow two questions. Before that, let me just say that one of the things that we are focusing on this year is mentorship. And you will hear more very soon, because I thoroughly agree with what distinguished Toastmaster Michelle said. So very quickly, we'll hear from Opal, we'll hear from Shadia, and then we must bid you adieu. So as a matter of fact, Shadia mustn't turn first, since she did not ask a question before, and then we'll take Opal Graham.
Thank you very much, DTM Corinne. I have a question. We have a Toastmaster who did a presentation. It was 5 to 7 minutes. We knew the timing, but she did not present an evaluation script or beforehand expectation of how her speech should have been evaluated. And she's wondering if it's possible to assign that speech to one of her projects. Do we just choose one? How do we go about doing that, please?
How is she going to, if she just did a speech, and by the way, I'm assuming that you're talking about in the meeting, how do you do a speech and then hitch it on to a project? And I'm sorry, I know that's not very diplomatic, but really, what objectives was she speaking to? So regretfully, no.
Okay.
She needs to identify a project and redo the speech to
Correct.
the objectives.
All right, thank you.
It goes back to the point that was raised earlier. You have to communicate with your VP Ed, because even in the checklist that is in Pathways, it tells you communicate with your VP Ed first. Right? So
that was putting the cart before the horse.
Right.
Yes.
Doesn't work that way.
Right. Toastmaster Opal, this is the last question, and then we really must close.
Right. Thank you very much. I'll be quick. For the projects that are non-Toastmasters, is it a requirement that the evaluation must be done in a Toastmasters meeting, or it can
No.
be done otherwise?
Anywhere. And that's
It's
what
going,
Toastmaster offers. The
it's going to
pathways.
depend.
Mhm.
If you are doing like the one I mentioned tomorrow, I will attend. The member is not going to repeat the project in the meeting.
Mhm.
Now, there are some things where you do a project outside of Toastmasters, but you come into the meeting to give a speech about the project. So it's
Right.
going to depend. And remember, not all evaluations have to be oral within the meeting. So in this case, I won't come to a meeting and give the member an oral evaluation. In fact, Distinguished Toastmaster Liz is being evaluated for this presentation today. So she'll get a written evaluation. And of course, maybe we'll meet one-on-one and discuss it, but it's not necessary. And you're not bound by the meeting alone.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes.
Right. And it's a good question that you raise, because let us not limit our members, because that's the whole program of Toastmasters. You want to see them outside of Toastmasters. Like, for example, when I went to the university to evaluate our members' keynote speech, and he did very well. And that is where we want them to be. We want them to be out there, universities calling them to do keynotes. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for your time. It was a wonderful session, and I appreciate my audience. And lunchtime is up for some people and lunchtime starting for others. So over to you, Madam Program Quality Director.
Thank you so much, Distinguished Toastmaster Liz, and please give her a round of applause. And as one of our folk icons used to say, clap, Miss Lou, clap yourself too, because you have been a most appreciative audience and very, very interactive. Thank you so much for making our first Lunch and Learn session for 2025 to 2026 such a resounding success. We will be back next month. It's usually the second Wednesday in the month. We will keep to that, and I will tell you upfront that sometimes it will be at lunchtime Jamaica time, sometimes it will be lunchtime for the rest of the AST, but you will know in advance. And please, let's just continue to connect and continue to get value from our Toastmasters journey. Thank you so much. And I bid you all adieu. Have a great afternoon.
Bye, everyone. Excellent session.
Thank you
Bye
so
bye.
much. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Everyone.
Enjoy
Bye.
your
Bye.
lunch. Those who are just going for lunch.